And next, we're going to discuss Nancy Guthrie's case further. Joining us now is retired Las Vegas Police Lieutenant Randy Sutton. He's also the founder and chairman of the Wounded Blue. So Randy, thank you as always for joining us today. And as we heard in the previous report, one of the two deadlines reportedly in a ransom note has passed, and a second deadline is reportedly on Monday. What do you think are the most important things that investigators will be looking for right now?
Well, the county sheriff is the agency responsible for this investigation. However, the FBI is playing an increasing role in this investigation because they have capabilities that the state simply does not have and the county does not have. They have amazing forensic capabilities as well as technological capabilities, such as cell phone investigative leads and tools, and an incredible forensic analysis unit. So they are really actively looking at all of the aspects here. When it comes down to digital surveillance, they did locate a witness, a neighbor that is now reporting a suspicious white van seen in the area during this time period that they have now reported. So this is a painstaking investigation now. The fact that it's gone on for days is not a good sign for the safety of the victim here. And we do know that she's medically challenged. We know that without medication, it will cause hardship and possibly severe consequences. So as the days tick by, this investigation takes on an even more dramatic turn.
Right, you're right. 6 days has been passed. We don't have footage. We don't have publicly released recordings. No persons of interest. What stands out to you about this case right now? What's your biggest unanswered question?
The lack of leads is really what I find startling. The fact that the doorbell camera was removed, the forensic evidence that was found, the blood evidence that belonged to the victim. These are very, very troubling factors. And this was a highly planned operation. I believe that there's more than one person involved, but the slow pace of this investigation I find concerning. And also, by the way, I mean, I hate to be critical of law enforcement, but watching the sheriff give what I can only refer to this as a confused press conference, it kind of undermines the confidence in the law enforcement response. And so, he has faced some pretty harsh criticism, and unfortunately, I believe it's deserved.
You know, I was talking about this case with a colleague just a couple days ago, and he said he found it strange that if this, in fact, is a ransom situation, we haven't really had the captors come out and ask for demands. Nothing officially confirmed. You would think that, if somebody wants money, they would make it as public as possible. So some very strange things this colleague of mine brought up.
Yeah, no, that's true. We live in a technologically driven society now. I go back to the Charles Lindbergh baby case, right? That occurred at the beginning of the century, last century, I should say. And you look at the public eye on it. It captured the world's imagination, just as this is doing now. But back then you had to write a note in order to try and get a ransom. But here's one thing that has been overlooked, and that is that since if they do indeed have this victim in their custody, they have ways to contact the family. They know the emails. She knows the phone numbers, and you buy a burner phone and you make a ransom demand. I find it uh, uh, a little concerning that if this is truly a ransom kidnapping, they haven't made that much of an effort to collect ransom.
Okay, what do you make of that second plea video? Why do you think another one was released yesterday by the family?
Because there's desperation. The family is beside itself. You can see. I mean, it was a very very emotional um, video that the family did together, and that was cobbled together, but with the aid of the FBI. There's no doubt in my mind by the verbiage being used that this was something that was done in concert with the FBI. But I think the desperation of the family led to the second one because they have not had a ransom demand that they could actually respond to. Now here's another thing that I think the public needs to know, and that is that law enforcement wants to catch these people. They want to put them in prison. The family wants their mom back, and they can be sometimes at cross purposes. But at the end of the day, it is up to the family to make a determination if they want to pay ransom, and it would be done in conjunction with law enforcement.
Okay, Randy, I just want to ask you one more thing. You mentioned earlier you find it startling the lack of leads. Why do you think that is? What are the challenges? Because if we think in recent memory, other cases, for example, Charlie Kirk, the killing of the CEO, Brian Thompson, there were leads almost immediately or within a couple of days. So, what are the challenges this investigation is facing?
Yeah, well, this was a very well planned operation. The lack of leads is startling. However, that you would think that with all of the technology that is at play here, all of the possible surveillance cameras that are in the area, that something would have broken by now. And so, I all I can say is that the lack of leads is hampering this investigation. They've got the capabilities to follow these leads, and I'm sure that many leads are being followed up on. I mean, there's the forensic evidence, and there's the whatever technological evidence they have, including the video that was that we know that it existed at one time, and trying to capture that video. So this is hampering this investigation in a major way.
Okay, well, Randy, really appreciate your comments on this topic. Thank you for your time.
Sure thing.